I could write it in my head and I didn't forget the melody, then I would allow myself to take the phone out, make the TikTok, and then make the song.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.
Are you at home or where is this studio?
This is my home studio. This is where I finished off the album, and I have almost too many pianos behind me.
It's so funny to see that in the opening shot because someone tweeted in and asked, I know you collect pianos and you have a lot of pianos, but is there anything else you have a lot of? Is there anything else you have a lot of?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I used to have a lot of cars, but I kind of just condensed and just have one right now. So that's kind of, I guess that's a upgrade in some way. I seem to have a lot of musical ideas that don't leave me, but and a lot of pianos.
So about cars, someone even asked a question about cars when they say, what's the most recent fact that you learned about cars? I didn't know you had a lot of cars. How many did you have?
At one point I had like 5 and it was completely unnecessary, but
yeah.
A recent fact I learned about cars, the new Dodge Hellcat, which will be fully electric, has some of the best fake noise, obviously because there's no internal combustion engine in it, it's all electric. To coerce customers into buying an electric car, true musclehead cars, they made fake noise in the back of it. And
that's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing, I must say. It's pretty cool.
So would you own one of those cars?
Sure, I'd be down. I probably shouldn't, but I'm sure I'll try it out at some point.
The electric thing, I don't know, man. All my friends have Teslas, and I'm like, it just seems like a big pain in the ass right now. Really
yeah, does. maybe give it a couple of years.
So you're ready for the album then, Charlie?
I definitely am ready for the album. I'm very excited for people to hear this. Someone asked me the other day, like, how many songs did you write before you decided on 12? And I the answer is I made 12 songs. If I could write it in my head, like what I did with Light Switch, one of the first songs I wrote for the album, if I could write it in my head and I didn't forget the melody, then I would allow myself to take the phone out, make the TikTok, and then make the song. So I just did that 12 times. It's kind of a boring answer, I guess.
Well, a lot of artists write like 85 songs and then have to go through and weed them out, but you didn't do that. So these are 12 songs you specifically wrote and said, these are for the album. This is what they're going to be. What about like singles then? Did you pick like ahead of time? Do you think to yourself, well, this is probably a single. Well, this is probably a single.
Whatever. I had to finish it all first. I mean, Light Switch felt immediate enough where it was like, okay, I want to start it off by putting something out that's kind of polarizing and doesn't sound like anything I've ever put out.
You definitely did that.
Yeah. Very, very, the caffeine song of music, I'll call it. It's very unusually fast, but it's kind of, I know what's going to stick out when I'm in the mastering process of it. That's at the very, very end of the process. So when we gloss everything over. When
you wrote that song, did you have like do you get weird inspiration from strange places when you think about producing songs? I have some friends that produce things and they're like, man, I'll hear like a sound in nature and that'll trigger something in me. Does that ever happen with you?
Sure. I mean, it's what I'm trying to prove constantly on my TikTok to musicians and non-musicians alike. Anybody who has any aspiration to make art, I want to prove that anything can be made into music. Everything is sound. You can auto-tune the air conditioner. It might make you think of something in a completely different way.
What kind of sounds do you have on the album that we can listen for later then and say, oh, he got that from an air conditioner or a car or a fucking bird?
Well, there's a record called Smells Like Me, and I wanted to start a record off with a really ugly sounding sound and then put beautiful pianos like I have around here on top of that ugly sound to see if I can make that work. And it was literally me just yelling like, ah, into the mic and distorting it and taking some lows out of it and putting effects on it. And then it turned into this weird noise that I must have done like 30 things to it. And then I put the piano under that and it became a very nice rhythmic part of the song. Very cool.
Your fans have been really amazing, by the way.
Really? That's good news.
I'm trying to pick the questions that are about music, but what about a tour? Do you have a tour planned?
Yeah, we have something special that's coming for everybody. I mean, I think the next logical thing is to when you put an album out is to have a tour come out. So I'm not going to sit here and, in front of Kannon and be like, hey, I don't know what we're doing. We have something planned.
Yeah. We don't know what it's going to be yet. What about performing the song with Jungkook? Is there plans for that?
We want to reserve that for a really special performance. So, I forget the song's only been out for a month. I mean, it's doing insanely well right now. And I think more and more people are getting familiar with it every day. So I want to get to the point where it's been out for like 4 months, and then maybe we save it for like a really special night, because it's tough because he's in South Korea and I'm in Los Angeles. So we have to find a perfect medium.
Congratulations on that song blowing up. You know where I heard it the other day and I was like, this is interesting. I don't expect to hear cool songs in Walmart, but your song was on in Walmart's.
Well, I mean, I am a pop singer, so I would hope that Walmart has me on their playlist, but that's good. I'm glad you think it's a cool song. I think it's a cool song as well, I must say.
When it comes to this album, did you call it Charlie? I guess because it's a more personal album. Is that why you decided to do that?
Yeah, it does. And kind of a boring answer for an artist to get on your show and be like, this is some of my most personal work. It's kind of been there, done that sentence, but it really is my most personal work, because my first 2 albums, I did have bits and pieces of personal work, but I was also a brand new artist. I didn't exactly know how to be an artist. So I was kind of checking some boxes of what I thought had to be checked at the time. But this is an album that's completely produced by me, melody that came about from thoughts in my head, wrote all the songs in my head. I think I want people to be really inspired when they listen to this album.
How have you grown as a person then since the last album, and how did that manifest itself on the new album in a sound?
I've come into myself unapologetically, and I will just fully admit that this is that this is me. But most importantly, I just want to inspire kids, everyone, and show them that there's no age expiration on making hit records anymore. With Kate Bush having a song 37 years later, that's higher than mine currently. That's really inspiring.
Not for long, man. I can't see that continuing. I think Left and Right will beat it on the chart, but that does have to be a little nerve-wracking. You're like, really, Kate Bush? Are you effing kidding me?
No, I mean that's a really wonderful song.
It's a cool song. I bet you like the production, and it's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. It's very different, and I hope that people kind of perceive Left and Right as being a very different song as well. Here's
a good question from Venus. Pick a favorite nickname. Little Bean, Kit Kat, or Peanut?
I see. I have to pick one of those. I like Kit Kat. Kit Kat's cool. I don't really know what it means, but
what about the next single, Loser or Smells Like Me? The whole fandom wants to know. Boom. Ooh. The whole fandom, Charlie.
The next single, I feel like maybe Smells Like Me and then Loser. I don't know. That's where I've been going on my gut reaction, and it's worked out for me. So maybe that's where to go with it.
Yeah, I'd say your gut has served you well.
Thank you. I try.
What do you got planned for the rest of the year then, man?
Plus the rest of the year, album's done. Maybe we'll tour.
That drops October 7th, right?
Yeah, that's an album called Charlie. I named it after myself selfishly. October 7th. You can check it out. It's some personal ass music, and we're gonna travel the world. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the world, and I just then making the next record. I constantly am creating.
Well, thank you for your time, man. We're gonna play Left and Right. I appreciate it. As heard in Walmart, it's Charlie Puth on Open House Party.
That's what I was gonna call the album at first. As heard in Walmart, but now on Open House Party.
All right, brother. Appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
The OHP Uncut Podcast with Kannon.